ESPN came out with its list of the top 10 college football coaches this week, and Josh Heupel was not on it. Not a surprise there, not a top 10 coach by what he's accomplished so far. He was listed behind Kirby Smart, Steve Sarkisian, and Kalen DeBoer at Alabama, who are all top 10. Brian Kelly got 13 votes and almost made the top 10. Hypel was tied with Lane Kiffin with 3 votes on the ESPN top 10 list. Speaking of Josh Heupel, here's a clip from a chat I had with David Ubben of The Athletic. It'll go up this week on the SportsSource Digital Network, but I want to let these guys react to it.
I think also you have a coach who seems like he's good here. Like, he's not going back to Oklahoma. He's not in the every single coaching carousel.
Yeah, his
rumor
agent's
every
not
single
floating his
year.
name constantly.
Like, has Josh Heupel's name come up for like any job or interviewed for any job since he's been here? And like, I think people, like, it's a little bit like if you're not sick, you don't think about not being sick, and like you don't know the value of it, of having a coach that like is where his feet are until you have that guy. And I think actually people underrate that here, of like having a coach in Josh Heupel that like, hey, he's already taken you to some heights, and he's not looking to take to those heights and like parlay himself into the Georgia job or parlay himself into the Notre Dame job or whatever. He's like, how can we get Tennessee better? There's real value in that I actually think is sort of underrated around here.
I think it's ironic that it's underrated. I don't disagree that it's underrated around here. I think it's ironic because this is a school who had a coach leave you for another job. You had the Lane Kiffin thing. You went through it. So the idea that, well, we're Tennessee, no one would leave us. Well, that's happened here. And you look around, it's happened at Notre Dame where Brian Kelly left. It happened at Oklahoma where Lincoln Riley left. My question, though, I think there are probably a lot of people out there going, go to another job, who wants him? I think there are a lot of fans out there who still don't appreciate what he's brought. I see him, I hear from him. Maybe I overreact to the numbers I get that say those kinds of things, but I'm surprised anybody's talking like that. Personally, 30 games, you win 30 games in 3 years considering what you inherited, you can stay here a long time, in my opinion, but some people are like, nah, it's a second-tier program. Championships are bust. My question is, do you buy David Ubben's argument that is worth appreciating, the fact that he doesn't have his agent floating his name all over the place? He's not constantly coming back clamoring for raises. Now, you've taken care of him on that front. He's making $9.5 million, I think. But is there something to that argument made by David, or no?
I think that any time someone can, because people make lateral moves in coaching in this day and age, so I think it's a very good thing. But the biggest thing I think it speaks to is that Josh Heupel's a cultural fit at Tennessee. So I think that has as much to do with Randy Boyd and Donda Plowman and Danny White as it does Josh Heupel. At the end of the day, they've made sure to keep him happy. Culturally, he's a fit here with the fan base and things like that, because that was a problem with Lane Kiffin. But I think that is what it speaks to the most, because Lincoln Riley, he left for USC because there were some problems at Oklahoma or some things he didn't like to deal with. I think Brian Kelly culturally maybe misread what was going on at Notre Dame and went to a place that gives him a third of the NIL that Notre Dame now gives their coach.
He's a real cultural fit in Louisiana.
Yeah, it's going super well there. Yeah, it's not going well for him there. But I do think Josh Heupel's very much a cultural fit at Tennessee.
Brian Kelly said that if Ed Orgeron and Les Miles can win a national championship at LSU, I can, because I'm better than they are.
Yeah.
Now, as far as the situation with Heupel values loyalty.
There it is.
He also values disloyalty, which is why he would not go back to Oklahoma. And his agent, unlike some agents, not floating his name around all over the place. Now, there have been some Tennessee coaches where you wished other people wanted them to get them out of here. But I do think there is some value with that. It also brings a stability with that. It should help you in recruiting. It should. And I think he's done a very good job. John, I agree. The mess that he inherited is what I think goes underappreciated. I mean, it was awful. The players that left, the NCAA cloud hanging over your head and all that was going on.
For years.
Yeah, and in year 2, you win 11 games, and you at one point were ranked number 1.
And make a playoff in year 4.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
So
your down year since you rebuilt it. You built it in 1 year, basically.
Yeah.
Your down year was a trip to the Citrus Bowl, which you hadn't been to in 20 years. That's a darn good bowl.
Yeah.
Do you think he's being underappreciated on the loyalty front, on the fact that he's not looking elsewhere, that he is a good fit? Or do you think, no, Vol fans appreciate him. It's where it should be.
Everything Jimmy said, perfectly said. There's nothing I can add to that. I think loyalty is
Well, then I'll take the money back.
Yeah, but you can't. Loyalty, I think, is something that is very much underappreciated across all sports, when it comes to the pro level as well as the college level. And I think the spot about this that I think that needs to stand out is, in fact, Josh Heupel, even though it's only a few scholarships that are missing, Josh Heupel is still handicapped at what he can fully do in 4 years, and every year he's exceeded those expectations. We always live in the here and now in the 10-foot view, but when you look at the 100-foot view since Josh Heupel got to Knoxville, man, this is something that I think a lot of Tennessee fans, they look at just wins and losses. When you look at some of the other things that are in the living room, some of the accents, some of the side tables, it's a beautiful put together situation.